Center Heights Productions. Please hit the likes and subscribe down below in your right-hand corner. This is September 27th, the morning after the Habs going into Toronto in the preseason game. And it is what it is. Please pass it on, share this. Thank you to my followers. Let's up the numbers. Please don't just come and leave. Subscribe, hit the likes. Trying to grow the channel. This is a channel for the Habs that we stick to factual insights on the team, and we don't like to run with rumorville here. So you'll notice that, and I don't use clickbait to draw you in with a picture, and it's nothing to do with what you're actually talking about. I've never bought that. For me, it doesn't work for me. So like I said, it was straightforward. You've seen the score. This is a review of the game and what we can talk about. There was not much to talk about here. Dobes. And that is the only story for Montreal. That's it. End of story. There were no other positives last night. Let's be frank about that. I heard, some other sites, and I'm not sure why Tony wasn't on. Marinero wasn't on last night on his channel, but yeah, I didn't like what I seen there last night. But anywho, there are many channels blowing the tires of Hudson, and I like Hudson, and I see him as offensively one of the front runners, and out of the kids being on this team. But don't blow his tires when he doesn't deserve it, because there was nobody on that blue line. Yes, he moved the puck in the offensive zone and gave you his shiftiness is always pretty to watch, but he made mistakes defensively. Let's get it straight. They all did. There was no defenseman for me last night that shone. And I have players I tend to back, and they didn't shine. Nobody did on that blue line. And that is something. Are we taking more responsibility? Now, mind you, let's also take it into consideration. Toronto pretty much had their main roster there. That was shocking to me. In Montreal, well, that looked like the way that game was played, that looked like an Adam team. That just did not look pretty. And it was a lot of the way the lines were thrown together. I just, when you see them play together, they just had no chemistry. Really, the closest you can get to positive on the defense was Hudson. But I'm not going to blow his tires, because he didn't look that good that he deserves his tires to be blown. Yes, probably the leader back there last night, although nobody deserved any praise there. Front line, Dvorak and Heineman actually had a consistently half-decent game, which shocked me. But it wasn't enough to write home about. Dvorak had jump in this game. And that goal. Come on now. I don't know if he scores it if Murray was in the net at that point. But it was a nice goal. But Storrs, I can't believe that's Toronto's other goaltender. But the perfect setup, no doubt about it. Beautiful goal in that regard. So he had a little jump. But that seemed to fade. After that, Kapanen and Beck had moments. Tuck had moments, but nobody on that offense had anything to write home about. To me, those lines didn't gel. I couldn't believe you put that on the ice. If that looked like that in practice, I don't know how you could have put those lines together. I would have left your lines alone that had some chemistry, like Kapanen and Barry Brulé and Heineman had chemistry. I wouldn't have messed with that line. That line and they gelled. They were gelling. Same as Armia had no consistency. Waugh had no consistency, like with the line he was thrown onto. They were just all didn't have a feel for each other. same with Dvorak. Like all of the lines just new look. No, there was nothing to be impressed about. Forward group, those lines just did not work whatsoever. So you look at those lines. I would never throw those lineups together again. Martin St. Louis. Power play, I want to talk about that. There's just 3 games into or preseason. We're not seeing the finished product, but I'm still concerned. That power play in these 3 games still hasn't shown me where we've taken a step forward yet. Now we've seen some nice glimpses from Lonnie and Hudson, and I do think Hudson will be, as far as a defense, a quarterback, will be a big help because he's not so predictable. I think he's a better choice up on Matheson to be on power play 1. Whether he gets that or not, I don't know. Lonnie will help. Doc will help. They're going to have to have decisions to see who can break through, but it's just the system. I still don't see where anything, with the amount of power plays we had thus far into preseason, where I've seen enough change. It's a problem. And penalties, that's got to come down. Now, there was more responsibility for the defense, took more responsibility in the first 2 games. Cut down, the chances where you've seen an improvement. Last night, game 3, that was a story. And like I said, don't give me the garbage because, I see this, I don't know, white-haired guy with glasses on RDS announcing. And he's trying to pin the first goal on Reinbecker. Yeah, Reinbecker didn't have anybody either, but he was the farther man out. Struble was the guy that was closest to Tavares and didn't have him. And at least Struble admitted he didn't have him. But that's my problem with reporters. If you don't understand hockey, then shut your mouth. Okay? Because you put your biases first. That one was on Struble more so, and he admitted it in his interview. And I like that. And you know what? And I will give Struble, that's one thing I'll credit him with. He was trying to make up for it. You can see it. Didn't have the lineups, the cohesion to make up for it with what he was trying to set up when he skated in there afterwards, trying to set up plays when he came out in the period after. So, again, reporters need to shut up. You know what I mean? Call it for what the truth is. Man, it was like they were dying to be on Reinbacker's case. And yet, it was more on Struble, and Struble owned it. Good on Struble. I like guys with character. But no one on that defense performed that they deserved praise last night. Yes, Lane Hudson, we know he moves the puck well and showed signs, glimpses of it. But that wasn't his best defensive game. None of them took him. Defensively, they were okay. They allowed far too many odd men rushes. That game should have been 6-1. It was that pathetically played by Montreal. I thought I was watching the Leafs play like a junior team. Just didn't look good at all. Sorry, but I was extremely impressed with Dobes, and I had been warning. Telling people, keep your eye on this kid. He really has come a long ways with that, having all the weight on his shoulders in Laval last year. And I said, the improvement in that kid, watch him, because he could be a part of, there's 3 goaltenders I've been saying to keep an eye on in Montreal's system. And there's the 4th, sort of on the outside, but I'm calling the 3 that I see automatically. I see Fowler, Volokin, and Dobes. But Dobes is ahead in his development. So he's going to arrive to Montreal before Fowler's ready, or Volokin. So we have to realize that because those guys are going to need time in Laval. But with that being said, it's again, and let's go back to the goaltending situation. Just because all of them had a shutout in the first 2 games, I don't think it should have been a shutout in game 1. And I think the one guy that got scored on was Primo, and he had moments where he looked a little bit lost. He played well, but the other 3 played better. Let's call it what it is. So if I'm Primo and Monty, after seeing Dobes, which I'm not even surprised, because I've seen some of his games in Laval last year, don't be, if I was those two, I would be very, very uncomfortable. Because I honestly think he could easily unseat one of these two, if not both, at some point. Might have to take the backup position first and then take over the starter as he's there. But it wouldn't surprise me. I am not convinced in this duo that we have, but they'll probably be the starters. But I think they should give Dobes a look, give him the odd games, and see go from there. Because Primo, from what I'm understanding, his contract comes to an end this year, and he'll be looking for money. Really, you might be better off going with Dobes, and I think Dobes is better. I see less weaknesses to his game. He can actually catch the puck, prove that. He tracks the puck very well. He doesn't go down too early, like he uses his size. So I was quite impressed with him. That was the only highlight of any praise for Montreal last night, because even the coaching staff should look at themselves and go, "What? Did we really ice that lineup? Like why there wasn't a veteran, with the group on defense just to support them a bit? I don't get that. But it is what it is. I mean, it's preseason. But again, if you see no chemistry, why are you putting lines like that together? I get it that you juggle some lines just to see what they can do, but that was just atrocious. That was just brutal to watch. This game was boring, one-sided, and I can't believe that it wasn't more than it was 6-1 in the final. So hats off to Dobes. He deserves the first star all freaking week long after performances like that. Give him a trophy. 32 or 34 shots, and and again, even people will get on Enstrom's back for the second goal. Hey, every one of those defensemen coughed up the puck like that and had odd man rushes. Just happened that shot that Robertson had beat him, and you could tell he misjudged where it was going. So, but that's not a knock against him, because he was standing on his head, and there was too many of those odd man rushes, which I think would have been a different story had it have been Monty or Primo. That's my opinion. Kind of sad to see that Hughes didn't get to play, but maybe they'll let Hughes play the next one just for the heck of it, because they know what Primo and Monty pretty much are. But anyway, with that being said, he deserves all the praise. That's the only high spotlight, and I have my favorites on the team, and I cannot give anybody praise, and that's why I wish people would stop pumping the tires. Hudson's going to get plenty of praise with his offensive capabilities. Now remember, he doesn't have a slap shot like Markov or Subban. That's something he should be take. He definitely has some beautiful moves, swift and a nice wrist shot. But that's the one thing he should be working on to get that shot up. But overall, we know he's going to be that offensive spark plug, because I think he is. Him and possibly Lonnie and Doc being added to the power play will finally change it. Let's hope, because I think Hudson is the quarterback of the future and I would put him on line one power play immediately. I just think he's definitely a step up on Matheson. Matheson is too predictable. And it is, yes, he's our best defenseman, but he's too predictable. I don't think he's a power play specialist. He could be on the second unit. But with that being said, that was something positive. Everything else, it was a disgrace. So let's stop pumping tires. There's plenty of guys I like on the team, and I can't pump tires. The offensive competition, I can't even count that as a competition, because nobody took it to that level of a compete last night. Last night was just kind of a write-off. And for me, I honestly say, when you've seen how smoothly Kapanen, Barry Perlay, and Heineman were in game one, they had something going there. I wouldn't have broke that lineup. That's just me, because I let them see what they could do continuing onward. But those lineups did not work. Nobody had any cohesion with each other. Just wasn't pretty. But Saturday night, let's hope we see a better response. But I was shocked that Toronto put out pretty much their regular team. So, kind of to be expected. So, with that being said, that's it. Thank you for watching. Looking forward to Saturday night's game. Again, it's going to be interesting. Leave your likes, subscribe, share. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave your comment. Be respectful. We try to build a solid, good community here. And until Saturday night's game, like I say, let's hope it's a better performance in Montreal, because this wasn't pretty. But let's, as Habs fans, start being honest. You give praise when it's deserved.